So here's a fun experiment. Show an audience a photo of a senior citizen behind the wheel of a car and ask, should this person drive this car? What you're going to get is a policy discussion. And at the end, all you'll really know is who is on what side. Now, show that same photo and ask, how might this person drive this car? What you'll get is a design discussion. And at the end, what you'll have is several possible solutions for how that person might drive that car. Now, online and in real life, we are very, very good at having the former discussion. What we don't nearly do as much of is have the how discussion, the design discussion. And what I'd like to talk about tonight is how we can get there. So I'm a content strategist, and that means I spend a lot of time thinking about what kinds of content are made available to answer certain questions. I also do a podcast where I talk about how race is portrayed in different genres. So naturally enough, I did a Google search for what films might make me less racist. Now, guess what I found? A whole bunch of top 10 lists of the most racist movies of all time. We only know how to tell you you're doing it wrong. And this is typical for how we talk about race, right? We shame malicious actors, which we absolutely should, but we don't really distinguish between people who are being malicious and people who actually want to have that conversation but are just terrible at it. We pretend like talking about race isn't a skill, but it very much is. And if I were trying to teach you how to drive a car and all I did was tell you what you were doing wrong, you would never learn. So what do? Turns out there's a lot. First off, we can start to reward good behavior. What's the last great conversation you saw online? Where is that top 10 list? If we start to reward and celebrate great discourse, we will see more of it. Also, we can provide tools. So Civil Comments is a platform where if you want to comment on a post, you first have to rate 2 other comments. Now, this does a couple of things. First, it forces you to acknowledge that there are such a thing as good and bad comments. Moreover, it makes you apply your own standard. And this is very, very powerful. We commit to the standards we set up more than any other standard. And one of the ways you know is if you want to stop somebody from cheating on a test, study out of Harvard says what you do is you make them sign a pledge saying, I will not cheat on this test. It's more powerful than pretty much any other intervention you can do. Another tool, Trisha Prabhu, at 14 years of age, put together a technology called Rethink. And what it does is if you're about to post that hateful tweet or that hateful Facebook post, it says, little pop-up, are you sure you want to post this? It looks like it could be hurtful. 90% of the people who saw that stopped in their tracks and did not hit send. Now this tells us a couple things. One, most of the people out there are not evil, they're just thoughtless. But what's more, it only takes instances to stop them. Now, maybe the best tool we have is to ask the right question in the first place. The Convergence Center for Policy Resolution gets people together over issues they would never ever agree on. And let's say the issue were food deserts. They would never ask, how might we get healthier food into the inner city? It's too divisive. What they might ask is, how might we work together to shift consumer demand to healthier consumption? Now, everybody can see themselves in that question. If I'm buy or sell food, oh, did you say consumer demand? Tell me more. If I'm a health advocate, oh, did you say healthier consumption? How can I help? Let's think about that first question. How might this person drive this car? That's fine, but it's a little limiting. What about how might we do a better job of moving people around? Now public transportation is suddenly on the table. Whatever we decide, let's make sure we aim for these 3 rules of productive discourse. Number 1, neither of us has the answer. If we did, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It presumes our mutual ignorance, not that one of us is superior. It presumes we're going to learn something. Number 2, neither of us will win. And that's not what we're here for. Winning doesn't actually accomplish anything. It just makes one of us feel better for a little while until the problem rears its ugly head again because we were too busy winning to solve it. And finally, we are here to create something new. This presumes that we each have something of value to contribute. It assumes the best of us and not the worst. So the next time you see somebody doing it wrong, ask yourself, is there a how conversation to be had? Thank you.